Hey, what's up people? I recently got a question on my channel about big Spyderco folding knives and I realized I've never done a video about them individually, so here's that video, I guess. So yeah, basically as you can see, I have most of the mainstream Spyderco 4-inch folders except the Spyderco Manix 2XL, which is a knife that is a little bit wider and bulkier, and I do like the slimmer and the sleeker style a little bit better, so I don't have the Manix 2XL. But obviously that one also exists in this category, and there are a couple of niche Spyderco folders in that size category as well that are not as easy to get. So this video is just about the military, the Stretch 2XL, the Spyderco Endura, Native Chief Lightweight, and the Police. So yeah, basically what it boils down to is Spyderco uses free blade shapes quite a bit in this category. They obviously have more blade shapes than that, but these are the most well-known Spyderco blade shapes, I think. So you have the straight spine blade shape as featured in the military. You have the slanted tip blade shape as featured in the Endura and Delica series. And then you got the leaf shape as featured in the entire Native series, including the Native Chief here. So let's talk about them individually. The straight spine blade shape is basically a shape where you put your thumb on that ramp and you transfer energy directly down that spine towards a fine and delicate tip. Most of the, or actually all of the straight spine models have the same lines on the spine, but where they differ is in the cutting edge profile. So for instance, if I take my PM2 here and hold it up against the military, you can see that they have the same spine basically, but the cutting edge of the military has a little bit more belly, so it also cuts a little bit better. So that's the main difference, and the Spyderco Stretch XL basically has the same cutting edge profile as the military. Sorry for the focus, by the way. And so these basically have the same cutting edge profile, and then when you flip them over, the military is just thicker. So this is like a 3.2 millimeter blade thickness, and the Stretch has like a 2.5 millimeter. I don't know what that is in inches, but the military is like more robust on the spine. So the Stretch arguably cuts a little bit better because it's like thinner in geometry, but the military does not have a bad cutting geometry, I think, especially where that blade tapers and the grind gets a lot thinner. The other difference is that the military is longer, so it has more reach and it feels a little bit oversized. So that's really good if you wear gloves or you're in cold or wet conditions or any difficult conditions for that matter. An oversized knife feels a little bit easier to control. So yeah, the locking system is also different. This has a liner lock or a compression lock as in the new version, and then the Stretch has the back lock, which gives it a little bit of a thinner construction, which doesn't mean that the military isn't thin. It's still a very thin knife, and it's very lightweight and easy to carry, as most Spydercos are. So, and if you hold them up, they basically have the same carrying profile, but opened up, the military is a little bit bigger. So yeah, I think the military carries especially well in the waistband, and the Stretch is more of a pocket knife carry, although you can carry the military in the pocket as well. Obviously, I just prefer it to be carried in the waistband. So yeah, I guess on the older ones you only have tip down. These are ambidextrous 4-way. And that's about it. This is made in the US, this is made in Japan. This has a higher build quality and it also uses, as most US Spydercos, bigger and better screws. So not T6s as on the Seiki City models, but T8s and the T11 on the pivot. Very high quality in terms of build quality. The Seiki City Spydercos tend to vary. Some of them have a really nice lockup. So my Enduras, for instance, they lock up really solidly. I have 3 different Enduras and they all are perfectly fine. But my Stretches, both the regular Stretch and the XL Stretch, they have a little bit more blade play. I don't know why the Stretch model in general has more blade play than other models. I have no idea why that is the case. So let's talk about the second blade shape that Spyderco uses a lot. It's the slanted tip. So basically it's a straight spine model, but then at a certain point it drops the tip a little bit lower, so the tip sits lower. Therefore, you don't have as much control as on the straight spine over the tip from the handle, but what you get is arguably a little bit of a robuster tip, even though it's the same thickness. Because of that breaking in line, you kind of get a more robust tip. And also the tip is more of a cutting tip as opposed to a poking and stabbing tip. So what's a cutting tip? Obviously the tip is part of the cutting edge also, and this is a tip you can cut with very, very well, especially when it comes to cutting on surfaces. So as you can see, if you would cut with the tip on a surface, the angle you have to use to get there is much lower than on any of these straight spine models. So as you can see, focus please, the angle here is much different if you want to cut with your tip. So in this case you would actually cut with the belly and not with the tip. So the Endura or any slanted tip model is really good if you like to cut with the tip. It's more like a sheep's foot blade as opposed to like a clip point style blade. That's the difference here. The Police could be seen as an extension of the Endura family. It's just a bigger, longer cutting edge, more cutting edge knife, more reach, oversized. Again, like the military, these are the oversized Spyderco, so these are really good to be used in gloves or in stressful situations. I think these work really well in those kinds of situations, basically. The Police also has a choil up here, which the Endura doesn't. Not a big deal. The Endura is more like a working style knife. This is like an old Toyota pickup truck that you just drive it and it goes and goes and goes. And this is that kind of knife. And the Police is a step up. It's more reach, more tacticalized, I guess. It's for a different kind of crowd than the Endura. I think hardly anyone would dislike the Endura, but people definitely would dislike the Police if they're not, into that style of knife, I guess. So yeah, that's the Police. My Police is the Police 3 with G10 and the swedge on the spine. In my opinion, the best version of the Police. This still has VG10, but yeah, it's a really good knife. It's well constructed. It has the steel backspacer, and yeah, it feels really, really premium and high quality, and there's zero blade play. These old CKCD Spydercos, they were constructed like the Taiwanese ones are now. They were really, really good. And the only other knife where you can get the polished back spring or backspacer is the Stretch XL and I suppose the native in G10. But yeah, most of the CKCD models don't have the steel backspacer, so that's kind of a shame. And the newer Police also does not have a steel backspacer because it's only FRN model now, so it also has the plastic backspacer. The third blade shape we are going to talk about is the leaf blade shape. So this also is a symmetrical blade shape, so you have good control over the tip from the handle. And unlike the straight spine though, the tip is also really low at the same time because, focus please, because the blade is not raised over the handle line, so it's in line with the handle line, so the tip sits a little bit lower naturally, but is still symmetrical because it's in the center line of the blade width. So this is a really good compromise, I guess, best of both worlds, you could say. The only thing I dislike about the leaf shape on the Native Chief is that it is really, really thin. So you could call the tip on the military a thin tip, but the tip on the Native Chief would be almost needle fine point. So it's very, very delicate. You have to be careful with what you are doing. But also this knife does not give you the impression that it wants to be hard used for prying or anything stupid. So yeah, I guess you also will not come into this situation very likely, but you have to be careful with it nonetheless. So yeah, that's what it basically comes down to. These have different blade shapes, different constructions. The American made models have better screws and better build quality, I think, than the CKCD models, although I will say my Police is also very, very well made. So if I would have to rank these, this is just another Endura that I brought out to show you because it kind of looked cool with the colorways that I had going on here. So this is just an Endura in a sprint run, higher quality steel, higher edge retention steel with the PD1, which is basically a crew wear. So Look out for the sprint runs as well. These sprint runs can get you some amazing deals, I think, as well, in terms of like performance to cost ratio. So in terms of build quality, this is how I would rank them. The American made models, the Police is also very well made, and the Endura is still very good. And the Stretch, I think for the price is, in terms of the quality, I think it's the least quality because it has the most blade play. Other than that, centering wise, everything else, fit and finish, it's perfectly fine. It's just a blade play on the Stretch model that I dislike. Yeah, in terms of cutting performance, well, like I said, the Endura is like the best work knife for kind of everybody. So this is like a no-brainer in terms of a work EDC. The Native Chief performs really well as well, but it's for a more, I guess, for a special crowd. It's not like it's not for everybody, I would say, because of that thin tip, but it performs also very well. The military is a good jack of all trades, I would say. This is the kind of knife that you can do anything with and it will never let you down. It's very reliable. It has the best liner lock on the market, in my opinion. Yeah, just for that reason, I would always recommend the military because it's very, very good. It depends what I'm doing, but if I go for an all-purpose knife, I do prefer the military over these. But if I go for a pure cutting performance knife, I think I would rank them like this. The Stretch 2XL is probably the best. And yeah, probably in terms of cutting performance, I would rank them like this, I guess. I don't know. The Stretch 2XL is Spyderco's most mature design for sure. This has one of the best features, or the best features of most Spydercos combined. It's just a good knife in terms of design. The only thing I cannot get past is the wobbling blade for the price of these. The Crewwear is fantastic. I love Crewwear. Crewwear is a perfect steel. Very high in toughness and edge retention. Not a good corrosion resistant steel, but you know, there are so many corrosion resistant steels on the market. It's not a big deal, I think. So yeah, I wish these were made in the Taiwanese or US factory. I don't know. So I guess each of these models is for a very specific person, and the person that is into one of these is gonna be into them quite a bit. So if you go for the more tacticalized knives, you should look at the Police or the military, and the more EDC orientated knives would be the Stretch 2XL, Endura, and Native Chief, lightweight, or G10, whatever version you pick. That's another good point. The Native Chief lightweight actually has no liners, so this is ultra lightweight. It's probably one of the best size to weight ratios on the market, but at the same time it does not feel as substantial in hand as the Endura, for instance. And the Endura is not a heavy knife at all. It's just that these are so much lighter because they don't have the liners. I still wish the lightweight Native Chiefs would have liners, to be honest. I think it would make them better for some reason. They would just feel a little bit more substantial. But on the other hand, if you need to have a long blade, but you cannot bring a lot of weight, for instance, you wear sports trunks or swimming trunks, this would be a great knife for that. So yeah, which one is the best? I don't know which one is the best. Obviously I have all of them, so I cannot decide which one is the best. But in terms of which one I like the most, I probably like the military the most. I probably would rank them like this in terms of my liking. I like the military the most. This has been with me for a long time. It's very reliable. I appreciate the liner lock version because it's more comfortable in my opinion than the compression lock. And I think this is the best liner lock we have ever seen on all knives in general. The Endura is a very trusted companion for years and years, actually decades even. And I cannot get rid of an Endura ever. I like the Police because it has its own charm. And I don't know, it's just a cool knife. I like the more tacticalized, longer, sleeker blades anyways. The Native I appreciate for its performance. I really like working with this, especially in the kitchen, or I don't know, this summer it actually was my dedicated beach knife, so because I wanted to have an ultralight knife and it performed really well for that. And the Stretch 2XL would probably be my favorite in terms of performance, but it's just a quality that sometimes, I don't know, lets me feel a little bit underwhelmed. But other than that, I really like it. This is a perfect knife in terms of design. So yeah, that's it. That's my ranking, I guess. That's my video about big Spyderco folding knives. What's your favorite big Spyderco? Leave it in the comments down below, and maybe see each other in a different video. Goodbye.